this big. Cool. We should be live. I believe we are. And just give me 1 second to pull you up on my other monitor and check to make sure that it is indeed live. We definitely are live. Okay, hello everybody. Fiasco here today, obviously live. And let's turn the volume off on this monitor. I thought it was already off. But today, I'm going to go ahead and do, with you, not just me, we're all going to participate in this, a animated film tier list. You can see we got the tier list up on the screen right now. Lots of movies. We couldn't possibly get all the movies because we know between Disney and Pixar there are a number of films. It just wouldn't be. It would be possible to fit them all on here, but it would be extremely difficult. So we just have a number of them. This is obviously on tierlist.com. If you wanted to, you could go there, grab this tier list, and put your own results if you so choose. But what we're going to be doing is we're all going to be participating in this. I'm going to make these decisions as to where these movies belong, heavily based on the chat. If there seems to be a split, so like let's say like you guys are 50-50 on Stitch, I'll make the deciding factor of where something like that should go. But for all you people who have never seen something like this, never seen a tier list, you've never seen how these go, basically you can see here we have the top tier. That's at the very top with the red. That's the end-all, be-all, best movies. It doesn't need to just be one movie. We could have 5 things up there. We could have 4 things. Or if we decide to just have one, then we just have one. And then it goes down from there. A being still just an amazing film, but maybe not the absolute best. B, still a very, very good film. And then going down from there all the way down to F. And while I would not say any of these movies are failures at all, I think every movie here pictured is a good movie. F would be kind of like it just doesn't hold its own against what it's compared up against. So like, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but like let's say Cars 1, 2, and 3 may be what we would consider to be the worst of the Cars movies would end up in one of the lower tiers. But with that being said, this is just meant to be a lot of fun and kind of see what we think and where we align and where we think these movies belong. If you're just joining the stream, be sure to give us a thumbs up. It does help the channel out a ton as well. These shows are brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. I know not a lot of people are planning many vacations right now, but whenever you do plan your next vacation, description below to Dreams Unlimited Travel to help. Our agents can help you do that. And what a lot of people are doing right now, assumingly, is watching Disney Plus. So I came up with this movie tier list to kind of get people thinking, what movies you might want to watch next while stuck at home. So yeah, I think we'll dive right on into it. Oh, as well, everybody on the team has really been doing a lot of fun stuff on Patreon. So you can find our Patreon link down in the description below too. Rhino has his Dispop 2.0, which is very much along the lines of Disney movies and Disney Plus type stuff. As well, I'm doing the Not at Disney Dining Show, where I share with you what Haley makes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner on any given day. Hello to everybody in the chat right now. Great to see you all. See Disney World Freak, Christian Jonas, Pink Champagne, Catherine, Judy Bickford, my wife Haley. Hey there, Haley. Zane's awesome. I know Myrna Powell. I know you. I know your name so well. Sorry if I have trouble pronouncing the first name though. Let me know how to pronounce it. But I know you very well from all streams in the past. Mickey Murphy, Vlogging with Matt. Hello, everybody. Samantha, good to see you, too. And let's get started with this. So, our first movie is 101 Dalmatians. This is the animated 101 Dalmatians, not the live action. So, chat, where do you think 101 Dalmatians falls on our tier list? I personally think if I was to put it somewhere, I'd put it somewhere around the middle of the pack. My vote would go somewhere around C tier for 101 Dalmatians. I like 101 Dalmatians. I really do. So yeah, we got some C, C, B, C, C, F, C, 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 D, D, C, B, D, B, D. So yeah, I think there's a consensus here. Oh, so we do have an A. Larry Westlake with an A. Kristen with a B. But I think there's a consensus here that it is a middle of the pack movie, with lots of B's and lots of C's. But I think the result that I've seen you say the most, chat, has been C. So I'm gonna put it in C. I agree with chat, and I saw a question saying why C. Good point. We should lay out a kind of a guideline of how we're judging these movies. I think some of the things we should look at is character development. I think one of the things we should look at is the music, if the movie has music. I think we should probably look at, if it has sequels, how it holds up against its counterparts. So like in the example of Cars, like how Cars 2 compares to Cars 1 and 3, I think that's relevant. But I entirely agree with 101 Dalmatians being in the C tier. Obviously, the music, there's music in the movie, but it's not a musical. And as far as the character development, we all love the dogs, but it's not anything in comparison to some of the other movies where I think that we get a lot more attached to the characters. And then also, I think we should judge the villain. And how I think what makes a good villain is they're bad. The villain's obviously bad, that's why they're the villain, but you relate to the villain in some frame. Like an example of a good villain, I think, is Maleficent. I think Maleficent's a great villain because you feel for her, but you're still bad, but I understand why you became a villain. And as far as 101 Dalmatians go, Cruella de Vil is just awful. She's just bad. But I agree with chat. 101 Dalmatians in the C tier. Next, Bug's Life. Bug's Life is next. What do we think? I think this is a severely underrated movie. This is our next pick, Bug's Life right here. I think this is a severely underrated movie. With that being said, I still do not think it is a top tier movie by any means. But, chat, what do you think? That's what really matters. Bug's Life, where does it fall? D, C, B, C, D, C, A, D, B, B. Okay, we definitely have another middle of the pack for sure, which I would also also agree with. Do Pixar separately, please. We could, and we will, another day. But right now we just have a big batch of movies. Because honestly, this one's just to get people thinking what they can watch next on Disney Plus, really. Or maybe if you haven't seen every Disney and Pixar movie yet, this will let you know what you really need to see. If we put up a movie where everyone's like, A, top tier, and you haven't seen it yet, better fire up that streaming service and start watching it this week. But yeah, definitely a middle of the pack movie. I actually see more D's than I see C's. So I think Bug's Life is going to have to come in below below 101 Dalmatians. I think we definitely got more D's on this than we did on 101 Dalmatians. So that is where Bugs Life is going to go. Now things are going to start to get interesting, and I think we're going to start to break our spread out a little bit wider. We have a classic Aladdin. Aladdin is up next. I think Aladdin is a contender for top tier. My personal opinion, I think Aladdin is a contender for top tier. Chat, what do you think? What do you think? I think the music in Aladdin is amazing. I think it's some of the best. I think a place where it's going to struggle is the villain. Because Jafar is not very relatable. I don't feel for Jafar. He's in the same category, I think, as Corella, where he just is no good. But the character development, I think, is really strong. You really, really feel for not only Aladdin and Jasmine, but the supporting characters like Genie, and even like Abu and the Magic Carpet. You love them all. I got lots of A's, lots of B's. Some people said it was an F. I do have people saying it's top tier, but definitely, I would agree it's top tier. For the people who are saying top tier, that's where I would put Aladdin. But the majority of chat right now is saying that it belongs in A, B top tier, S. If you say S instead of top tier, that's fine. I know what that means. I just put top tier for the people who don't normally watch tier list videos. But if you say S, I know exactly where you're coming from, and I'll count that as a top tier. A is for sure where chat's going. So Aladdin is our first A movie. Cool. We have a nice spread to start. I like this. It looks nice and clean. Okay. Let's go back in time. Let's rewind the clocks to the golden afternoon. Alice in Wonderland. I'm biased on this, obviously. If you guys know me, you know I am an Alice pin collector, an extreme Alice pin collector. Easily my most valuable pin collection is my Alice pin collection. So I will go completely on what you guys are saying here. I'm going to let you guys pick where Alice is supposed to go. I would consider it a top tier movie. For me, it's my number one classic. And I'm getting a phone call, and it's coming through on my laptop, so excuse me. I will cancel that real fast. All right. Let me actually put my phone on airplane mode real quick before I take the results for Alice, because I don't want that to happen again. There we go. Airplane mode. Okay, so we got lots of C's, lots of B's, a D and A. A are top tier. I would agree with you. It looks, there's lots of D's. Wow. But I think it's a C. Lots of C's. Lots of C's, but a good amount of B's and D's too, averaging it back into a C. And I'd say I am disappointed by this choice, but I'm not going to go against you. If you want it to be a C, I'll let it be a C. So we'll go ahead and we'll put Alice right there with 101 Dalmatians. I think the nostalgia pumps Alice up a little bit more too, Chris. But, yeah, music A. Couldn't agree with you more, Mark. This classic stuff. We're going to move on to the next movie, though. Another classic, but I would argue it kind of falls short in a lot of the categories we're comparing these movies on. Bambi. We got Bambi up next. I think I don't know. I feel like some of these it's hard to compare some of these classic movies though to some of the newer movies because obviously the musical aspect is going to improve. Obviously, the animation is going to improve, even though some people prefer that old animation style. But this tier list, like I said, is purely to get some ideas of what to watch on Disney Plus right now. So we'll do more. We'll do more narrowed out tier lists in the future that are just Pixar movies. Maybe we'll do it in the Disney eras. So we'll do a Disney Renaissance tier list. We just use movies in the Disney Renaissance. We'll do a classic Disney movies tier list. Stuff like that in the future. That'll be fun. But let's see what Bambi's coming in at. There is a lot of different votes coming in for this. D, C, F, B, D, lots of Ds. Lots of Ds. So I think, based on what you're saying, chat, this is going next to A Bug's Life. So Bambi coming in with a D. Alright, back to some of the newer age movies. With Big Hero 6, I absolutely love this movie. It's one of my favorites. Technically a Marvel movie. Tadashi, that first act of the movie with Tadashi absolutely just tears at your heartstrings. The character development, and not just Hero and Baymax, they're so lovable. You connect with them so well. But all of the supporting characters, all the Hero's friends, the rest of the team, all super lovable. It's a fantastic film. As far as the villain's concerned, where I talked about, I feel like a good villain is somebody that you can feel for, that you can relate to. The villain in Big Hero 6 is definitely that. That is a staple villain of somebody that you can really understand where they're coming from. Looks like you guys like Big Hero 6 quite a bit too. Lots of B's. Some C's. A. Some people say an A. So I think this is going to fall somewhere around like the B plus category. So, lots of A's bumping in at the end. But there's also a W and an E. Alright. I am going to go ahead and put that in the A list then, based on everything you guys are saying. Oh no, I mean B. It's B. It's going to fall into B. Alright, next up is Bolt. Now, Bolt, again, like Bug's Life, I think is very underrated, but I still don't think it's amazing in comparison to the rest of the movies on this list. But I'm curious to see where you guys think it stands. Next up, we were looking at Bolt. I do think the characters are extremely good. The development of Bolt is awesome. Him being, a dog who thinks he's actually a super dog, a superhero. Come to find out that, he's a normal dog, but what actually makes him special is more than the powers he thought he has. But it looks like a lot of you guys don't think it's that great either. Lots of F's. Lots of F's or haven't seen it. Some C's, some D's. Mostly D's and F's, it looks like. It looks like D's gonna take it. It's almost an F based on chat right now. It's almost an F. but it's gonna fall into D. There's so many D's, so that was easy. Okay. Next up is Brave. Brave, the Pixar princess. The yeah, that's Brave. Merida is the official Pixar princess. If you watch Ralph Breaks the Internet, when they're like, "Oh, she's from the other studio." Um, so Brave, I think the music in Brave is amazing. Um, I Will Fly, is that the actual name of the song? I know you know what I'm talking about. I will run, I will fly, chase the wind and touch the sky. I will fly. That song has to be top three songs for me, period. One of my favorite parts of Happily Ever After. And we got our votes coming in for Brave. All right. BACABAABBBB. Wow. Brave is killing it. Actually, it's really spread. There's F's, there's C's, there's D's. Well, there's lots of F's because the same person keeps typing F. So, I'm not going to count your F that many times. I think definitely C and B are the most prevalent, looking like B is probably a little bit ahead of it. So Brave is going to go next to Big Hero 6 in the B tier. Okay. Next up, we have Cars 1, 2, and 3. I don't want to do all the Cars movies right now. Well, we'll just do them. They're here. We'll do them. Cars 1. Let's do Cars 1 now. Let's see where we think Cars 1 falls. I personally am not an enormous fan of the Cars movies, not gonna lie. I know it's kind of like, I think Cars in the Pixar universe is the most you love it or you really don't of all the Pixar movies and series. So for Cars 1, it looks like we're coming in with a lot of B's, a lot of C's, some D's, a few A's. Definitely looks like the average here is a C though. So Cars 1 is a C. Okay, what about Cars 2? I personally think Cars 2 is probably the worst of the three. Some people say top. Wow. Okay, the kids love it though. Paul C says the kids love it, and a lot of people are putting it in B. Some people even saying top. Okay. Some people saying A. Okay, so with all the tops, all the A's, all the B's that we have, Cars 2, I guess, is an A movie. Based on chat today, Cars 2 is an A movie. I'm fine with that. I am fine with that. Okay, finally. And now all the F's come through. It's already locked in. It's already locked in the A tier. I know. That's not where I would put it. But it's there. Cars 3. The final movie in the Cars franchise. Where do we think Cars 3 goes? I do like Cars 3 better than Cars 2, but not better than Cars 1. So, I'm curious to know what you think. Oh, did I take the votes from Cars 1 because of a delay? Okay. Alright. There was a delay in my stream, and you guys were giving Cars 1 the praise. So there was more of a mix in Cars 1, and Cars 2 was getting all the F's and D's. Okay. So, because of that, I will move Cars 1 up, and I'll move Cars 2 down. Because it was getting slammed with these. And I agree with that way more. That makes way more sense. Yeah, I got trolled. Okay. I got trolled. And I'm assuming now this is Cars 3. And we're having again a lot of C's, D's, C's and D's. Yeah, okay. Cars 1 B, Cars 2 F. Thank you. Thank you guys. We got it, we got it, we got it, we got it. And it looks like Cars 3 also is going to come in between a D and a C. Yes. Okay. How's that? Cars 1B, Cars 2D, Cars 3C. Perfect. Looks like chat's happy. Chat's happy, I'm happy. Cool. Cool. All right. Let's get back to a classic. Cinderella. Now, Cinderella, I think, nails it with the music. I think it's way ahead of its time for character development in animated films. And I don't love the villain. I don't think the villain's great. So where do you guys think Cinderella belongs? That's a good point. Somebody just said, who said that? I missed it because the screen scrolls, but I don't think Cars 3... I don't think I can comfortably sit Cars 3 next to 101 Dalmatians and Alice. So while I'm grading Cinderella, you guys also let me know if you agree with me that we cannot comfortably have Cars 3 with Dalmatians and Alice. It needs to get knocked down a peg. If you disagree with me, we'll leave it, but I think we need to knock it down. Cinderella, lots of A's. B, top tier. Yes, 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 yes. That's an A for sure. It's almost top tier. If I got some more top tiers in here, I'd say it would probably fall in top tier. There's so many A's and so many top tiers. I think we can actually place this in our first top tier movie. Yep. Okay. So we got our answer for both. Cinderella, our first top tier choice, and we're talking about bumping both cars down one. Cars 2 goes down one. Cars 3 goes down one. I think that looks a lot better. I agree with chat. 100%. 100%. All right. I like the look of this so far. Next up, we are doing Coco. We have Coco up next. Now, music, obviously. Character development, obviously has that too. And the villain, I think, is awesome. Totally throws the audience for a loop, I think. I think Coco's a great movie. I think Coco falls anywhere between A and B. I think I'd feel pretty comfortable with Coco sitting next to Big Hero 6 and Brave. Oh, no, even higher. It's almost all A and top tier. Okay. I'm not going to argue with that. That is so resounding. Coco is a top tier movie. For sure. Okay. Hey, I'm happy with that. 2 top tier movies just like that. Bada bing, bada boom. We have a classic with Cinderella. We have a modern movie with Coco. This is looking like a good list so far. Okay. We have some people in chat saying that they haven't seen Coco yet. Well, if this was any indication of a movie you should definitely watch soon on Disney Plus, chat's telling you, you gotta watch Coco. Gotta watch it. Let's talk about Dumbo, another classic. I think you cannot help but fall in absolute love with Dumbo. The villain is you don't really feel any sort of relation, but Dumbo is a very lovable character. I would feel weird if this surpassed Alice, though. I'd feel weird if Dumbo, as much as I love Dumbo, I have a Dumbo plushie and everything, but I'd feel weird if it surpassed Alice. I'd be comfortable with it sitting next to Alice in the C tier, but that's about as far as I could go with it. But it's not up to me. It's up to you. And there is a huge divide. There's A's, there's B's, there's C's, there's D's. This is probably one of the biggest divides we've seen so far. This is tough. It's either a B or a C, based on chat. And it looks like C is probably taking the lead, and I would agree with you. More B's are coming through, though. More B's are coming through, so I guess I'll put it in B. If you guys, I mean, it's very, very, very close. There's so many C's, there's so many B's, but I think there's a little bit more B's than C's. All right, moving on to the next one. We have Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo's up next. Where do we think Finding Nemo goes? I love Finding Nemo. I like Finding Nemo better than Finding Dory, which is next. I know you probably won't agree with me. I know Finding Dory is probably a little bit more popular. We'll see, though. Maybe I'm wrong. But where do we put Nemo? It looks like on your end, you're still talking Dumbo. So I'll give you a minute for this to catch up. So I'm not going to take any of the scores until I see my screen pop up Nemo. I mean, is there really even... There's not really music in Nemo. I mean, there's obviously music, but nothing like that you could really rate. The villain, though, I mean, is the villain us? Is the villain mankind? It's a pretty obviously relatable villain. There's A's, there's top tier. Nemo is top tier. Okay. There's no way it's not going to be top tier with that many votes for it. So there you go. Our next movie in top tier is Finding Nemo. But what about Finding Dory? Trey says Aladdin deserves an A. Aladdin has an A. Aladdin has an A. Finding Dory. I don't think it's as good as Finding Nemo. What do you think? Lots of A's for Finding Dory. But it's not going in top tier. So right below Finding Nemo, we have Finding Dory. All right. Oh, but now more votes are starting to come in. There's B's, C's. Okay. There they all come in now. Lots of B's and lots of C's. Dory's going to get knocked down to a B. Yep. Gets knocked down to a B. Okay. Inside Out. Our next movie is Inside Out. I love this movie. This movie makes me hysterical. Reason? Bing Bong. And as far as being relatable, It's such a relatable movie. I wouldn't even know what would you call the villain. I don't know, but it is a very relatable movie, and the characters are very easy to fall in love with. Um, and fun fact, there's a crossover where you see Riley, the main character of Inside Out, outside of a tank that Nemo's in. Pixar likes to do that type of stuff where they cross over their movies so you can see Easter eggs from each movie and their other respective movies. Alright, Inside Out, lots of A's, lots of B's, even some top tiers, but also some C's. I think right now Inside Out's falling between A and B. But there's lots of top tiers coming in. Definitely pushing it up to A. More B's are coming in. Some D's and some C's. I think that's still enough tops and A's, though, to have it average around an A. So that's where it's going. Inside Out, A-list movie. Alright. Lilo and Stitch. Now, I know sometimes Stitch gets some flack because of the spin-offs in the series. People not loving the spin-offs in the series. We're not talking about any of that. We're just talking about the OG original Lilo and Stitch. There's no place I would rather be than a roller coaster out at sea. Lilo and Stitch. I think it's an A movie hands down. I think Lilo and Stitch is an A movie hands down. It is fantastic. What do you guys say? A, top, C, C, B, D? Oh man. Lots of A's though. Lots of B's too. There's some top tiers. I want to say A is the most prevalent answer though. I want to say you guys are saying A the most. That's what it looks like to me. And I think that's definitely what it is. It's an A tier movie. There's no place I'd rather be than on a surfboard out at sea. Sailing away for the ocean blue. I search for the sunset beyond the horizon. Alright. Hope you enjoyed that. Lion King. There's only one correct place for Lion King to go. There's no other spot. I think what we're looking at here is arguably the best movie. The best animated movie. Arguably the best animated movie. Lion King is fantastic. Like, the characters are animals, but just as you feel for them just as you would feel for a human. Music, incredible. Storyline, incredible. Villain, you can understand him. Lion King, I think no matter what happens, it has to be a top tier movie. It looks like there's plenty of people who agree that it needs to be a top tier movie. And I think this is an easy pick. I think people who say F are just like, they forgot what the movie's about. They watched Animal Planet last night and they thought that that's what I was talking about. They thought I was talking about what they watched on Animal Planet. I'm not. I'm talking about Lion King, the animated film from the 90s. Not the nature doc you saw last night on Animal Planet. It's a top tier movie. Alright. Next up, another movie I absolutely love and have watched so many times, Moana. Again, absolutely incredible music. The music is some of the best in recent years, I think. Um, yeah, I think it's some of the best music in recent years. The villain, I mean, come on. Again, throws a little spin, a little wrench in it, throws a little spin in the story. When you find out what's up with the villain, it's great. It's just great. And there's so many people who agree with lots of A's, lots of top tiers. Only a few people diverging off the path with some C's and D's. It's got to be an A. It's even no. It's really. I mean, do we really think? And I'm sorry, I know the kids love Nemo. I love Nemo too. But do we really think that Finding Nemo is better than Moana? So this is where I need to. This is where I need to make a pause, and we need to make a decision, chat. I'm prepared to put Moana in the A tier. But do we really think Nemo is better than Moana? That's the question we need to answer. Because if the answer is no, then I think Moana needs to be top tier. Yeah. Yes, yes, no, 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 no. So we're saying it. We're saying no. The no's are for no. Finding Nemo is not better than Moana. Right? Moana is better than Nemo. It looks like a solid divide. I think Moana is better. But you guys are divided. Because there's such a divide, I will just put Moana in top tier. Because you guys are split down the middle. Some of you are saying no, Nemo is better. Some of you are saying no, Moana is better. And some of you are saying that they're equal. So, with that, I'm going to keep them both in top tier. This was a heated comparison. This was a heated comparison. But all right. I'm going to put them both in top tier, and we're going to move on to Monsters, Inc. Monsters, Inc., Mike, Sully, and Boo. Where do they belong? A classic as far as animated Pixar movies are concerned. I mean, they're all animated, but... Where do we think Monsters, Inc. belongs on our list? We got Monsters, Inc. and next up, right after Monsters, Inc. will be Monsters University. But we're doing Monsters, Inc. first. People love Monsters, Inc. Lots of B's. There's some top tier. There's some A's. There's lots of top tier. There's lots of A's. Okay, so it's like minus a couple deviations. It's top tier A and B across the board for Monsters, Inc. There's lots of top tiers, though. Wow, there's lots of top tiers. Are you guys sure? You guys think Monsters, Inc. is top tier? Me personally, I would put Monsters, Inc. in the B tier with Big Hero 6, Brave, Dumbo. Monsters, Inc. in the top tier. Okay. There's so many top tiers I cannot not put it up there. So I'll put it up there. Monsters University now. Monsters University. The prequel. The prequel. We are cheapening. Yeah, I feel like we're being too generous to the top tier. I feel like we're being too generous to what we put in the top tier. We got to bring some stuff down, guys. There's too much up at the top tier. So let's find out where Monsters University belongs, and then let's hit the brakes. Let's hit the brakes a little bit. Monsters University getting lots of C's and D's, with even some F's and a few bigger grades. But I think that's going to safely drop it in the C, which is fine. But now we need to fix something, because this tier list that once looked pristine, I think has gotten out of control. There's too much in the top tier list. Some people said that in the chat, and I agree with you. So chat, we need to knock some things off their pedestal. Chat, what I want you to do now is I want you to tell me the movie in the top tier category that needs to get knocked down, and we're going to knock down two movies into A. Tell me what needs to come out of top tier and get knocked down to A. Coco, Moana, Finding Nemo, Cinderella, Coco, Cinderella, Monsters and Cindy, Nemo and Monsters, Monsters and Nemo, Moana. Okay. Monsters. There's lots of people saying, so, alright, listen. There's a lot of people saying Nemo. There's a lot of people saying Cinderella. There's a lot of people saying Monsters. So because of that was a lot of people saying move them down. So because of that, we're moving down all three to A. So we're going to put Monsters, Nemo, and Cinderella in A. Right? I think that looks better. Yeah, I think that looks better. I know there's still some people saying Coco too, but don't keep saying it over and over, because I don't want to accidentally count you a bunch of times. Those are definitely the three that were said the most. Those are definitely the three that said the most. All right, we will move on. Next up, we have Mulan. Mulan is next. Now, I think the music is great. Reflection, amazing song. I'll Make a Man Out of You, amazing song. Character development, obviously, is incredible. The villain kind of stinks. We don't have the best villain. Obviously not a relatable villain. He just trying to invade land and just be bad. Not the best villain, but for the hero is very lovable. The sidekicks are very lovable. So what do you guys think? B, lots of B's. Top tier, A, B. Lots of A's, lots of B's. So many A's. So many B's. Okay, there's so many A's and so many B's. So we need to make a decision on which it is. I think we're getting more A's than B's, though. Is what it looks like to me. So we're going to put Mulan in the A tier. All right. Next up, there it goes. All right. Next up is Pocahontas. Another movie I think is severely underrated. Amongst the rest of the classics, or, well, not classics, but Renaissance period movies, Golden Age movies. I think it's Golden Age, right? Or Renaissance? I think it's the Renaissance. The 90s movies. I think it's one of the most underrated. What do you guys think? Where do you guys think Pocahontas should go? I'm sure I'm caught up. Okay. Lots of B's, some D's, some C's, lots of B's. An overwhelming amount of B's. An overwhelming amount of C's. Okay. So, I think it's going to have to fall somewhere between B and C. Chat is giving us an overwhelming amount of those letters, and now a bunch of A's just came through. I'm going to say that huge spike of A's will definitely push it more into the B. So, that's where we're going. B. And I think it fits pretty well with the things it's up in with the B tier. Okay. Another classic, Pinocchio. Pinocchio with Jiminy Cricket, whose impact can be felt all over with so much music. When You Wish Upon a Star, just the quintessential Disney song. So I don't think we can say it's lacking in the music department. But can we say it is a high tier movie? Where do we think Pinocchio belongs? Some F's, D's, C's, lots of C's. D's. Ooh, lots of D's. Lots of C's. Okay. So at this point, Pinocchio cannot succeed too much. There's been so many D's and so many C's. Even if we came in strong with him right now, he's not going to do too good. I'm looking and it looks like C is the overwhelming majority. So we're going to give Pinocchio an easy C. All right. Next up, Ratatouille. Ratatouille. I know this is a lot of people's favorite movie. It's a lot of people's favorite movie. Ratatouille. Attraction coming to Epcot in the future. Restaurant coming to Epcot in the future. It's already at Paris. If you've ever been there, I haven't, but I hope to go one day. Soon. Where does Ratatouille fall? Paul C is not the worst in any means, but there are better movies. C, I would agree with that. I would agree with that, Paul. But yeah, it is a lot of people's favorite movies, though. And they just put it in the chat now. Top tiers. So this is interesting, because I think the two most prevalent scores for Ratatouille are top tier and C. That's a big gap. And there's A's and B's. I think B is probably the average. Yep. I think B is probably the average. And I think it fits well with what it's up next to. You got to figure Brave, Big Hero 6. I think it makes sense with them. I think it makes sense. All right, next up, another classic, Sleeping Beauty. Not the remakes, not live action, not Maleficent. Sleeping Beauty, the animated classic. What do we think? I think it has a great villain. I do think it has a great villain. While you guys vote on Sleeping Beauty, just to inform people that joined the stream late, looking at this tier list here, the very top row are the movies that chat and me are saying are the best, and then it goes down from there. So top tier best, A tier second best, B tier third best, and progressively down from there. And the votes for Sleeping Beauty are in, and it is getting slammed. And I agree with you. The story in the original animated feature is kind of not that great in comparison to the others, and I don't think it should surpass most of the other classics we have on here. Lots of D's, lots of F's, and I'm very comfortable with that. I think it gets a D. Because up next we have another classic with Snow White. Now, I think there's something we have to consider with Snow White, is it was really the first. And without it, would we have the Disney we know and love today? Does that make it a good movie or a bad movie for current times? Probably not. But think about what it represents. I mean, it's kind of a big deal to us, right? I feel like we gotta maybe bump it up a notch for Snow White for that reason. And guys, it is okay if your favorite movie doesn't get the rating you think it deserves. This is just polling from a vast majority of people, taking roughly the average of what it looks like everybody's saying, and putting the movie into that category. Again, do not fret if you do not get the results that you wish you got. You can go online too, and take this exact same tier list and reorganize it in the way that you think is most fair, and then share it with us on Facebook. So actually, I think that'd be really fun. Anybody who disagrees with this tier list, or even if you agree with it, go to tierlist.com, look up Disney Pixar, pull up the Disney Pixar animated tier list. It's up there right now. And organize your own. Share a screenshot of it on Facebook. Facebook's probably the best way to do it. Yeah. Share it with us on Facebook. You can put it on DVC Fan, the actual Diz Facebook, and show us what you think the appropriate tier list looks like. And now the Snow White votes are in. Lots of C's. And I think that's fine. I would personally put Snow White at a D, but because of what it did for the studio, I would bump it up to a C or a B. So chat saying C, I can definitely get behind that and put it in a C. All right. And definitely do that. If you're thinking about doing that, if you're thinking about making your own tier list of this and sharing your own opinions of what you think it should have came out to look like, please do that. That'd be wicked fun to look at. Because maybe your tier list looks more like what mine would look like. Because, I mean, if I was making this tier list right now, Aladdin would be a top tier. Or I am making the tier list right now, but if I was making it based on just my opinions and not a collective think tank, Aladdin would be top tier. Alice would be at least A tier. Probably. Good Dinosaur. Good Dinosaur. What do we got? Good Dinosaur. Here are all the votes coming in. Lots of F's. Oh man, Good Dinosaur just getting slammed. Okay, Good Dinosaur got slammed. You guys gave it a lot of F's. Alright, moving on. Incredibles 1. So we have Incredibles 1 up first, and the next movie we pick is going to be Incredibles 2. So consider that. Consider which one you liked better. And they're going to kind of go up against each other a little bit. What do you guys think Incredibles... Where do you think Incredibles 1 should go? I personally think it's a middle-of-the-pack movie. The villains, obviously, you can understand the villain. The villain's good. I think the main characters are good. But it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite by any means. I know some people I know Haley really likes The Incredibles because she was younger when it came out than when I was. People love The Incredibles. Chat loves The Incredibles. B's, A's top tier. Lots of C's too, though. Lots of C's too. Okay. There's enough. I think there's enough top tiers, though, to push it to be closer to a B or an A. Alright, I'm going to put it in B for now. And then we'll see if anything changes when we review number 2. Alright. Next up is Incredibles 2. Incredibles 2. What do we think? Where do we think Incredibles 2 belongs? Personally, I probably enjoyed Incredibles 2 a little bit more than Incredibles 1. I would say I did. If I was to pick where I thought these two should go, I would bump Incredibles 1 to C and put Incredibles 2 in B. Personally. But you were saying lots of B's and C's. Way more C's than Incredibles 1 got. So many C's. An overwhelming amount of C's and some B's. Alright? So many C's. I cannot argue with that many letter C's. It has to be a C. And again, if you're just joining, we're taking the results based on what the majority of chat thinks the movie falls under. If you disagree, grab this tier list template, make your own, and share it with us on Facebook of how you think it should come out. And it'll be fun to see what everybody picks. But next up is definitely something that I think is going to end up at the top and would end up at the top of my list, and that is Little Mermaid. For music, I think it is the best. I think it's the best. I think the music in Little Mermaid really is hard to beat. Really, really hard to beat. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think of The Little Mermaid? Part of your world? Ursula as a villain, not the best villain. Character development also, not the best, I guess. But the music is outstanding. Lots of A's, lots of top tiers, few B's, but mostly A's and mostly top. Oh my goodness, so many top tiers. Okay. That definitely got more top tiers than Moana did. So it cannot be not in top tier. It definitely got more top tiers. Definitely. So, easy. Alright, next up, we have Toy Story 1, 2, 3, and 4. Toy Story 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're going to start with Toy Story 1. And remember, compare them to each other. So out of the 4, kind of think of what's your favorite, and then go from there. So we're going to start with Toy Story 1. Where does it fall? I love Toy Story. That's no surprise. I'm a huge Toy Story fan. Toy Story 1 is probably my second favorite of the 4. Toy Story 3 is my absolute favorite. Toy Story 3 is one of my favorite movies, period. I thought 4 was really good too. So many top tiers for Toy Story. Okay. We're filling back up that top tier slot pretty fast. But I'm fine with Toy Story being up there. However, if Toy Story 1's not your favorite Toy Story, I don't know what you're going to do with the other ones, but we will see. We will see. All right. Next up, Toy Story 2. I love all 4 Toy Story movies, but Toy Story 2 is notably my least favorite. With that being said, I still love all of them. But Toy Story 2 would be somewhere in... Toy Story 2, out of all 4 Toy Stories, would be the only in the series that would fall middle of the road for me, with all of the others being more in the top rows, like BA top. Toy Story 2, someone says all 3 Toy Stories are top tier. A lot of people coming in with B's and A's, some C's. Mostly B's and C's. Lots of C's, lots of B's. Okay, it's just lots of C's, lots of B's, but people also saying top tier. So because of that, I'm going to take the higher of the 2 averages and give it a B. Next up, we have Toy Story 3. I think Toy Story 3 is the best movie in the series. So first part, the villain, Lotso Huggin, is the best. He's better than Zurg, he's better than Sid. He's the best villain in the series, I think, hands down. His backstory is heart-wrenching and really makes you, sad. The way they wrap up, and obviously they didn't wrap it up because they made Toy Story 4, but the way they tied the bow on Andy's story is the most perfect thing I could have ever thought of, or I think anybody could have thought of. It was a perfect bow on top of an amazing, at the time, trilogy. which is now not a trilogy, but so Toy Story 3, top tier, A, top D. Oof, Eric, D. A, top tier, top tier, top tier. Okay, that is enough top tiers for me to put it there. Yes. Yes. Toy Story 3 is a top tier movie. Could not agree more, everybody. Okay. Finally, Toy Story 4. I don't think... I love Toy Story 4. I don't think as good as 3. But I still loved it. I loved it. I remember seeing it in theaters, within the past year. And when it ended, I was just so pumped. I was like, that movie was so good. And it took me, it was one of those movies where I watched it. I was like, that was the best movie I've ever watched. You get that kind of vibe right after watching a movie, being like, that was the best movie ever. And then you sit on it for a while, you let it fester, and you're like, okay, pump the brakes. It wasn't the best movie I've ever watched. It was just a really, really good movie. Lots of A's, lots of B's. And a lot of people hated it. A lot of people saying they hated it. So with lots of A's and lots of B's, and there being a group of people saying that they hate it, I think that means it has to fall into B. And like I said, I loved it. But this is a divided movie. People are very divided on this movie. So that puts Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 4, the even number Toy Stories, in the B tier. And that puts Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 3, the odd number movies, in top tier. We're rounding out this list. And as you can probably tell, we don't have every movie on here. That would be very difficult to do. But if you see some of your favorite movies not on here, we will do them when we break these lists up. So we'll do another list that's just New Age Disney movies, and we'll do a list for just Pixar, and we'll do a list for classics. We can definitely do that. And you'll see, eventually we'll get to most of the movies. But right now, this is what we got. We got 5 left. Next up, we have WALL-E. We have WALL-E up next. People saying 2 is better than 4. 2 should be higher. Like I said, make that. I got to go off of what the majority says. So you should make a list. You should share it with me. And maybe the list you make will be better. But where do we think WALL-E belongs? We are already starting off very divided. We have top tiers for WALL-E. We have A for WALL-E. We have B's. We have F's. We have C's. Okay, so this is one of the most divided ones we've had so far. Definitely. The results are everywhere. Yet, Tangled, Mike Wando says Tangled. Yeah. So this was a stock list made on tier lists. So it didn't have every movie. But I would put Tangled top tier as well. Tangled is my favorite Disney movie. But is not on this list, unfortunately. But if it was on this list, if Tangled was on this list, I would 100% say it would be top tier. Somebody mentioned Peter Pan earlier. If Peter Pan was on this list, I'd 100% have it up near the top, like A or B. But where's WALL-E at? This is such a divided movie. It looks like though the most said letter was B. So I think that's where it's going to have to go. I think that's where it's going to have to go. Okay. We have Wreck-It Ralph, and we have Ralph Breaks the Internet. Wreck-It Ralph and Ralph Breaks the Internet. Starting with Wreck-It Ralph. Where do we think Wreck-It Ralph belongs amongst this list? Yep, Princess and the Frog, Hercules. Yeah, we're missing some good ones. But like I said, between Disney and Pixar, there's so many animated films. We don't have them all here. But next time, we will do just one or the other. So next time we'll do... I think the next one... Actually, you guys let me know. The people here watching this right now, let me know, as you're voting for Wreck-It Ralph, should the next tier list be modern day Disney movies? So the Disney movies that have come out in the past like 20 years? Should it be classic Disney movies? Or should it be Pixar? So give me your votes for Wreck-It Ralph and tell me, should the next tier list, which I'll do probably later this week, should it be new animated films, the classics, or Pixar? Wreck-It Ralph is looking like a lot of C's and a lot of B's. I think more C's. Someone says push Ratatouille up. If I get more people saying push Ratatouille... Anthony says push Ratatouille up. If I get a few more people saying it, because I remember it was teetering on the A, with it being a lot of people saying it was top tier for them, I will move it up. People saying Pixar, modern day classic, modern day... Okay, a lot of moderns. I think modern, classic. Okay, how about we do this? Because that question was very divided too. People want all sorts of things, so I'm going to do it in the way that makes the most sense to me. I'm going to do it in a timeline. So I'm going to do the oldest, most classic Disney movies, and then I'm going to do like the Renaissance movies from like the 80s and 90s, and then I'm going to do the modern Disney movies. So I'm going to do them in order. I think that's probably what makes the most sense. And enough people are saying to push Ratatouille up. Ratatouille is getting pushed up. That is enough votes, I think, for Remy to move up the ranks from B to A. That was more than I needed to give him the bump that he so deserves. Moana has nowhere to go. Moana is up as high as she possibly can be in the top tier category. Moana can't go any farther. And it looks like Wreck-It Ralph is probably a C. It's probably the average there. Aladdin should be top tier. I would agree with you. But the chat averaged at a definite A. But maybe when we do our Renaissance tier list, Aladdin will be a top tier movie. Because this is comparing all generations with each other, which might have affected the results a little bit. Alright, Ralph Breaks the Internet. That's what we're voting for next. Ralph Breaks the Internet. Did you enjoy Ralph Breaks the Internet more than Wreck-It Ralph? Did you enjoy the inclusions of some of the new scenes where they had the princesses and stuff and stormtroopers? I loved it. It was my favorite part. Now everybody wants Moana to go down. That's a lot of Moana go down. Okay. Do we really want Moana to go down to an A? Alright, Rope Breaks the Internet is not doing great right now. So it looks like a D. Yeah, it's not doing great. There's very few high ratings, and most of them are D's and F's. So, Breaks the Internet gets a D. Okay. Moana and Coco are not top tier movies. Moana down. Leave Moana up. Yes, move it. Moana down. Woohoo! You guys are divided on this one. But it looks like there's a lot of people saying to move Moana to A. But listen, I don't know. This is tough. It's too divided. There's too many people saying it's top. There's so many people saying it's A, and so many people saying it's top that I feel like I can't move it. The last Remy going up was much more overwhelming. So I'm gonna leave Moana. Moana stays. You're gonna have to make your own tier list to move her down. It's too divided. But we're gonna move on to the second to last movie, Zootopia. Where do we think Zootopia falls? Again, another movie I think is fantastic. Not my number one. Not my absolute favorite movie, but nonetheless a movie that I thoroughly enjoyed. Where do we think Zootopia goes? Ryan Sweeney says Aladdin is not top tier. Well, you're right. Well, I would say it is. But chat would agree with you, and that is why it is in the A tier, not the top tier. Alright, and the votes are coming in. Lots of B's, lots of C's, and lots of A's as well. Not really any people saying it's top tier, though. So that would lead me to believe it's going to average around a B. Lots of A's, lots of B's, and C's. So because of that, I am going to put it in the B tier. Where is Frozen? Good question. Frozen should be here. And if it was, Frozen 1 and 2, I would put it up near the top. When I was in the Navy and worked really weird hours, like I would work from like 2 a.m. to about 5 p.m. and then wake up the next day and do it again. So I'd go to bed at like 7. Really brutal hours. So I'd like just get a few hours of sleep. I'd go to bed at 7 and I'd wake up at like midnight to get ready to be there by 2. And I would put Frozen on to fall asleep to every single night. But this tier list is a stock tier list from tierlist.com. And it just is a mix of all different ages of movies. But next time we do it, we're going to be doing it classics, Renaissance, and then modern. And we'll have all the movies covered at that point. But this is just a meshed up list of all sorts of movies from all sorts of different eras. Did I put up Beauty and the Beast yet? Yeah, we're going to vote on Beauty and the Beast now. Yes, so this is our last movie, Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast is next. Xerox M, Zootopia is one of the best movies in the last decade. Hunchback and Tangled are also missing. Matsy, yes they are. There's a lot missing. There is a lot missing because there is a lot of movies. A lot of movies. Kayla Smith, if Tangled were here, it would be top tier. I couldn't agree with you more. That is my favorite Disney movie. So many top tiers for Beauty and the Beast. So many A's. Some AB. Lots of top. I think this is so overwhelmingly top tier. Okay. So this is our list right now. And now, sorry if I sound like a broken record, but I'm going to say one more time while we have the list fully polished. This is a tier list that we designed together, myself and everybody here in chat, based on an average of votes. I know we're missing movies. We're missing Tangled, Princess and the Frog, Peter Pan. We're missing Hunchback of Notre Dame. We're missing a lot of good movies. We're missing Hercules. I know we're missing them. This is a mashed tier list of movies from Disney and Pixar and from all the generations, because there are so many animated films. So next time we're going to do it in a timeline where we're going to do the classics, so we'll be able to include more classics. And then we're going to do the Renaissance Revival era, that's like the 80s and 90s, so we'll be able to include much more of them. And then we'll do modern, and because in modern we'll be able to include basically everything, we're going to do it that way. So I'm sorry if some of your favorite movies aren't on this list. Mine are missing too. Tangled, Peter Pan, some of my favorites. But do not fret, they'll be in a future tier list. So this is indeed not every movie, but it's a good chunk of movies. And if you disagree with our results here, mine and chat's results, you can for sure go here, grab this tier list on tierlist.com, and make your own and share your results with us on the Dis Unplugged Facebook page or on DVC Fan. I'll see it on both, wherever you frequently post the most, and show us what you think it should be. But this was fun, guys. This was a lot of fun. We're definitely going to do this more. I asked in chat for you to tell me what you wanted to see next, whether you wanted to see classic movies, Pixar movies, modern movies, and it was such a divided vote. You know, a big chunk of people wanted to see classic, a big chunk of people wanted to see modern. So what we're going to do next, we're going to do it in the same format where together we decide, and we're going to take the average on every tier list of what chat wants, and we're going to do it in a timeline. So the next tier list that you see is going to be classic Disney movies, followed by Renaissance Revival, and then we're going to do modern in a timeline. I think that makes the most sense based on people wanting a mix of things, and that is going to do it for this tier list. I cannot wait for you all to join me in the next one. Again, all the information in the description below for things like Patreon and Dreams Unlimited Travel. Check it out. I hope you guys are all staying safe out there. Staying safe inside. And for all you people that cannot stay safe inside because you are, some of the people with essential jobs, thank you for what you do. It is very much appreciated that you're out there doing what you do. Have fun on Disney Plus. If you've missed some of these movies that obviously chat thinks are like the bee's knees, some of these top tier and A-list movies that we put up, I think it's time for you to catch up on your animated Disney movies. If you haven't seen Moana, Coco, Lion King, if you haven't seen Lion King, I don't know what to tell you. Little Mermaid, Toy Story 1, 3, and Beauty and the Beast. Again, I'm pretty sure you've all seen that. But if you haven't, Disney Plus, get on it tonight. That's going to do it. I'll see you in the next tier list. I'll probably be on another video before I do another tier list, but I'll see you in whatever video I'm doing next. Take care, everybody. as I. This is awkward. There we go. I'm still here. Okay, let's try that again. See y'all in the next video that I see you in. Take care, everybody.